Hello and welcome back to Warrington Basketball. Today we are joined by Rick Dell, Level 3 referee, Manchester's development in refereeing. How are you, Rick? You okay?
I'm okay, Josh. I've been enjoying watching all your podcasts, particularly the last one, which touched on refereeing, even though it's from
With Mike,
coaching angle. Quite a lot of people knew me from Warrington because I was there for 7 years. I just did the Tuesday night league, but now, I'm Manchester Basketball Centre's referee manager. I'm very well supported, by the way, by my manager, Phil Gordos. I have sort of 3 real jobs there. The appointments, because they have a huge National League programme there. I even forget how many National League teams they've got, but I think it's about 16 teams I'm appointing for there. They also asked me to develop their referees and run their courses, and that's the bit I do mostly, and most of my hours every week, and enjoy doing. That is the job in a nutshell, really.
Yeah. Okay, so today's episode, obviously, rather than it being player development, we've got you in so we can sort of discuss referees development. Give us a bit about your introduction into refereeing yourself, and then we'll go towards, what we're doing now to try and develop the referees.
Yeah. Well, I was probably no different to a lot of people. I played, and probably, when I look back at it, I probably played for too long. Although I finished my men's basketball when I was 29. I started refereeing about a year or 2 before that. Got my level 2 and started refereeing the men's Manchester League, and a bit in Stockport Ball Hall that existed then, and found that I enjoyed that more. I made friends with that. I found I was probably better at it than my playing, because I didn't have the talent. Even if I had the love, I didn't have the talent. So I got into the refereeing. Then quickly found I was developing at that time at the beginning pretty well, and got my level 3, went to the senior National League and started refereeing sort of the bottom divisions of the senior National League and building up from there. I continued to do men's Manchester League. I refereed in that league for 21 seasons. And I continued to do bottom division women, bottom division men. Then I moved up. I did a lot of National League junior games as well. And that really was what I was doing throughout the late 90s and the noughties, really, up to about 2009, which is now coming on 10 and a half to 11 years ago. And then I got my job at the Warrington Ball Hall, and I'm now the job at NBC developing refs, which is really what I've found that I enjoy and want to do, really. That's my focus.
Yeah. What do you think what's the big thing we need to be pushing on in terms of developing referees?
Big subjects.
Right, young referees, don't we? And then they move on to the level 2, and then we sort of build them there. But obviously, there's kind of like what myself and Mike were speaking about the other day. There's a bit of a gap between the sort of senior referees and then the new batch.
Yeah, there is, and in the Northwest, the next 3 to 5 years, I would expect there's going to be a massive change, as you will see probably quite a lot of the older referees, they'll retire, quite a lot of them. I mean, we would hope that some of them would still be around. And this area will need a lot of new, young, talented referees that want to referee and be the next future level 3 and 4s and beyond, and go into the BBL. And even if they just service the lower divisions of the Senior National League and service the ball halls, well, that'd be good. But also to move to the very top and be future level 4, level 5 referees. You talked about Matt Jennings. That was certainly one of them from the past, and there was some others for another conversation that we're going to have about the referees that Warrington has produced already in the past. But to develop the referees it is an investment. It's education, it's investment. There's no one quick answer. There's no magic wand, and they suddenly come in through the door one day and out through the door the next week, and they're there. That we all have to invest time, and that is touched on what Mike said yesterday, the patience from coaches, really, where some coaches may actually know the right answer and the referee didn't come up with the right answer, but being really rude to them isn't really the solution to the problem in a game. The solution is to talk to them nicely and see if you can get them to think about the correct answer, and then at the end of the game to maybe address it again in the right manner that we all learn. I mean, I learn from coaches. I'll admit I'm quite lucky in my job at Manchester Basketball, level 3 coaches there. And you can learn from coaches. You can learn how they feel, what they think, what they see from their angle. So our first thing to all young referees, I would say, is find out the coaches you like. And there's some, I know Steve Ross, Tom Schubert, and I'm sure there are others. You need to ask them what's important and how they feel and what they think and how the game should be blown. I'm not saying you do what they say. I'm saying you listen to them and take it on board the way they see it. What they might say isn't actually within the rules. You can't do it, and you'd have to explain to them why. But some of them, it's charge blocks, for example, why you came to the conclusion you did.
Yeah.
So you're working together, not against each other in a way. And like everything, there are different levels of refs, different levels of coaches. So to the young referees, seek out the experienced refs to help you with your education, and don't be scared to go up to a coach a week later that you had a disagreement with and say, do you know that disagreement that we had last week, and you said this and you shouted that, can you just explain what it was about? And then you can tell them calmly what you saw, and then you might then glean from that you didn't actually see what they saw.
Yeah.
So that is one angle. So it's seeking the right tutors, the right teachers, and investing in the future and giving yourself a chance, really.
Yeah.
Well, all referees need the right environment to develop in.
Yeah.
And that's what I've tried to create at NBC.
Yeah.
Not only do they have me, but they have a lot of other level 4 and even Paul Walton, who's a level 5, who's helped me. Steve Lee, Colin Hydemarsh. There's lots of others, Dave Woods, Fitzroy Wallace, level 4s. There's a lot of them, Johnny Vickerstaff, I could go on with the names.
Yeah.
But they know what I'm trying to achieve, and they help me to help those young referees to help the future.
Yeah.
And they need time and investment, and they don't get everything right all straight away. No, not even a player does that straight away, do they? So they need the time, they need the environment to learn in, they need the right teachers to help them, and everybody's wired differently, aren't they? So they need maybe a different teacher. But you've talked about some of the coaches. You spoke to a few different coaches there. So different players will think a different coach is better than another coach because they all have their own connection. Aren't they? So my job is to connect, and largely that's what I've done. It's aimed at teenage referees, so I've got them as young as 12, up to 19, 20. I have 12 of them, 12 to 14 of them. There are a couple of older ones. And that's what I do, and it's a long-term project. I've been giving them homework over the summer on the rules, because you need to know your rules. What's one thing now, if there's any referees watching that are young, watching this podcast, read your rule book. The next thing, you can be a better referee next season if you just read your rules, know your rules, look up scenarios, look up interpretations, read that so your understanding's better for next season. And just go running and keep fit. They're the two things you can be doing. As long as you do it safely, there are two things you can do for next season to be better without even refereeing a game.
So I know off camera we spoke about the likes of Ewan Hacker, Tom Burrows, and those the young crop of talented referees that we've got coming through. What do you think we need to be doing in terms of the old referees? So we have Josh Turner refereeing our senior games, and those older ones, obviously, life sort of gets in the way. You know, where they're working, or it's
Yeah.
there's a gap, like what me and Mike were talking about in the last episode. There seems to be a sort
Yeah.
of big gap between the senior referees and those younger guys. How do you think we sort of keep hold of them? What do you think we can do?
Well, first of all, what I've done, and this is, I've even spoken to Simon Unsworth at Basketball England, who's a top referee, he's a level 5, he's just the development for BE, and he's totally agreed with me. What you need to do is you need more level 2 referees. So you create more level 2s and have more referees, and you have the opportunity to have more level 3 referees, because it's the one level down. So you first of all need that. You need to keep those referees. Well, they also have to have the commitment. They're going to turn around and say, moving to a different part of the country, what you could identify is actually it could be a good part of the country to go to, and try and make sure they get introduced to the right person to continue their journey somewhere else. Or if they decide they've had enough, they've had enough. You can talk to them for so long, but you need the ones that are committed. And I must admit, for me, at times it was hard finding the odd ones that disappeared or went to a different part of the country, but I tried to encourage them to keep going. But not all of them do.
Yeah.
And you just have to nurture them like you would a player. And treating referees, young referees, teenage referees differently, and saying, well, I'm going to look after a really good player, he's fantastic, like a player like Connor or Jamal. If I was a coach, I would look after fantastic players like that. I would say they've got great potential. Mm-hmm. We need these players to develop, and we'll help them for a better outcome and a better future. You've got to do the same and identify who they are, and then help them and how they need to be helped. And all of them are different. Some of them need more help with refereeing with older referees and getting the support from them and feeling that they are supported.
Yeah.
And that's where I come in at NBC. I mean, they all know they've got me. They all know my phone and my email. So they have somebody to help them, and they don't feel alone. And I'm often there anyway, watching or refereeing with them. And I've got these other referees as well. It's a support network they need.
Yeah.
The same as some of the players may not completely love their head coach, but they think their assistant coach is great, and always talk to him about, I did this wrong today and I didn't do well. But the assistant coach, it might be helping them more mentally, saying, don't worry about it, and along those lines.
Yeah.
The same for refereeing. Referees need supporting. They do get grief off coaches. They do get shouted by some coaches that are rude and swear at them and shout at them, and it almost looks like abuse, really, from my point of view. I've seen it. But they need to be supported. But at the same time, if they're doing wrong, it needs to be put right quickly for them, not just for the game, doesn't it? So, I've seen some of my referees do things particularly wrong. I've gone to coaches afterwards and said, leave this with me. And I've gone to them, and we've talked, I've talked to them, and they've listened to me. So I suppose it's for these young referees, they need to find somebody that they trust, that they can will listen to them, and will talk to them and help them to be better. Because all we want them to be better. The biggest thing I can say in this conversation, sticking up for the refereeing side, is improve refereeing, you improve basketball.
Yeah.
Because everybody walks up much happier out of. It don't have to be a ball hall. It could be a ball hall. It's Division 3 National League game. We all walk away happier if the game's been refereed fairly, consistently, and well, ultimately. And people's idea of refereeing and what is good refereeing may be different, but whatever their idea is, if that's achieved, it's going to help the players, isn't it, and the coaches, and that's what we want, isn't it?
Of course. So where do you think sort of the next sort of 5 years is going to take us in terms of sort of the referees' development and England basketball in general?
Well, basketball has to invest. It has to invest in education, courses, referee tutors, and support them to pull us through more referees.
Yeah.
Because in fact the game's expanded. I mean, was it Cheshire Wire? Tom Shoebrook on his thing said that was it 12, 14 teams? I know there's more than that. At Manchester Magic, they seem to have increased. Manchester Giants had about 3 under 14 teams, I think I noticed.
Yeah.
I think last season. So there's more demand on refs because there's more games. So we need them better supported.
Yeah.
So it's support in terms of funding for education, funding to help them. I think in principle, most people would say, yes, I'll turn up and have a look at your referee and for nothing and travel and do it occasionally if it was not putting them out too much. But on a regular basis, it's not realistic to ask people to do things for nothing when they're out of pocket with petrol, etc.
Yeah, of course.
They need some. That's where basketball needs to invest. Needs to, people will come along and support the ref.
Yeah.
Talk to them at half time if it looks like their heads are down and they've had a bit of a bad time of it or something at the end of the game. Realise before they realise that they're having a bad period of time. Maybe they've had to hand out some technical fouls. Maybe they've had to a ruck with a certain coach. And to help them with what is a better way and a better outcome the next time they meet that coach or any other coach in the future. So help them with their knowledge of the rules, help them with their understanding of the game and how to deal with coaches. And it's not easy. So as you said, the young refs have the disadvantage that they don't have the life experience how to deal with certain very experienced coaches that are in the Northwest. And there are all the clubs, whether it be Liverpool, Mersey, Cheshire, Manchester, they all have good experienced coaches. And they will know, they'll probably have referee qualifications as well. So they need support and help. And that's only by support and help in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And investment in education will refereeing improve in all areas of the Northwest.
Yeah.
I mean, at Manchester, I feel with all the support and the help I'm receiving, we've really addressed it and we're moving forward. And I'm hell-bent on moving it forward, really, that it will move forward. We've already got one on a level 3 course. There'll be others to follow. And then I'm looking at 2 or 3 years as a project that myself personally, with the help I receive from so many good people, that we will get there. Well, yes, you want it to get there in Warrington, everywhere else, and so that is the model, really. And same for table officials as well. Table officials need support. We need table officials. That are a very important part of the team.
Yeah, agreed. We appreciate you coming on, Rick. We know we've got a
right. Okay, we can't do another half hour then.
No. Well, we've got you on for a...
referees have senses of humour, Josh. Referees have senses of humour as well. And that is an important aspect that they need as young referees to remember as well. Don't get too down if you have a really bad day.
Yeah.
Find somebody to talk to, and you need that strength of character and sense of humour.
Yeah, yeah. Like I say, we'll get you on for a specialised ultimate team where you'll pick your ultimate 5.
Top 5 refs at Warrington.
From the Warrington leagues. But we do appreciate you coming on and thank you for your insights on the refereeing development.
Well, I just hope it's helped the young referees that are out there, or even it could help, hopefully, some people who are thinking about refereeing during this lockdown. We've all got lots of time. I've been thinking about all sorts of things, so hopefully they've been thinking, maybe I'll go on a level 2 course.
Yeah.
And if you think you could do a good job and you think you want to know more, then after this lockdown, go try and get in contact either with you, Josh, at Warrington, or me, and hopefully we'll get some more referees and more developments and more help.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Josh.
Appreciate it, Rick. Thank you.